So you've got a slow drain. Maybe it's your kitchen sink that takes 5 minutes to empty after you wash the dishes. Maybe it's your shower where the water creeps up past your ankles before you've even finished rinsing off. And naturally, your first thought is to swing by the hardware store, grab a bottle of Drano or liquid Plumr, dump it down there, and hope for the best. I completely understand the impulse. It's cheap, it's easy, and the bottle practically promises you a miracle. But here's the reality. I've been doing plumbing work for over 35 years, and those chemical drain cleaners are responsible for more pipe damage, more emergency calls, and more expensive repairs than almost anything else I see in residential plumbing. Today I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what those products are doing inside your drain system, why they make things worse over time, and most importantly, what you should actually be doing instead to clear your drains safely without destroying your pipes. Stick around to the end, because I've got a monthly maintenance routine that takes about 10 minutes and prevents roughly 90% of household clogs from ever happening. Let's get into it. This is one of those topics where a little knowledge goes a long way. Most homeowners have no idea what's really going on when they pour chemicals down their drains, and the product manufacturers aren't exactly rushing to educate you. Once you see the full picture, you'll understand why every plumber I know cringes when a customer mentions they've been using drain cleaner regularly. Let me start by showing you what you're actually pouring into your plumbing. When you pick up a standard bottle of chemical drain cleaner off the shelf, what you're holding is one of the most corrosive mixtures sold to everyday consumers. The primary active ingredient in most formulas is sodium hydroxide, also called caustic soda or lye. Some of the heavier-duty products use concentrated sulfuric acid instead, and a few formulas combine bleach compounds with other reactive chemicals. To give you some perspective on how aggressive these substances are, sodium hydroxide is used industrially to strip paint, dissolve grease in commercial kitchens, and process raw materials in paper mills. Sulfuric acid is what mechanics use to clean corrosion off battery terminals. These are not gentle household cleaners, no matter what the friendly packaging suggests. Here's how the chemistry works. When sodium hydroxide contacts organic material like the hair, soap scum, grease, and food particles making up your clog, it triggers a powerful exothermic reaction. That means it generates heat, and a lot of it. The temperature inside your pipe during this reaction can spike to somewhere between 180 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That heat combined with the caustic chemical breaks down the organic material, theoretically dissolving the clog so it washes away. And sometimes it does partially work, which is exactly why people keep buying these products. You pour it in, wait 20 minutes, run some water, and the drain seems a little better. Problem solved, right? Not even close. Because while that reaction was busy dissolving your clog, it was also busy attacking your pipe walls, your gaskets, your pipe cement, and everything else it touched. And here's the part that should concern you. When the drain is clogged or slow, the chemical pools at the blockage point. It sits there concentrated in one section of pipe with nowhere to go, generating extreme heat in a very small area for a very long time. Let me walk you through exactly what that does to different types of pipes, because your home's plumbing material makes a big difference in how fast the damage shows up. Starting with PVC, which is the white plastic pipe found in most homes, built from roughly the mid-1980s onward. PVC is a great material for drain lines. It's affordable, it doesn't corrode, and it lasts decades under normal conditions. But PVC has a weakness, and that weakness is heat. PVC begins to soften at around 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it gets soft, it deforms. Now remember, the chemical reaction from drain cleaner can hit close to 200 degrees. And when that chemical is pooled at a clog point, all of that thermal energy is focused on one spot. Over time, Repeated treatments cause the PVC to become brittle and thin. Hairline cracks develop. Joint connections weaken because the pipe has warped ever so slightly and the cement seal isn't tight anymore. I got called to a house about 8 months ago because the homeowner noticed a musty smell in her hallway and couldn't figure out where it was coming from. When I opened up the wall, I found a section of 1.5-inch PVC drain line coming from the bathroom sink that had a crack running nearly 5 inches long. The pipe wall was so thin and fragile that it broke apart in my hand when I tried to remove it. This was a pipe in an interior wall, completely protected from weather and physical damage. The only thing that had been touching it was water and whatever the homeowner poured down the drain. She told me she'd been using a popular chemical drain cleaner every 3 to 4 weeks for about 2.5 years because the sink was always a little sluggish. That chemical treatment turned a minor drain issue into a wall repair and pipe replacement job that cost her close to $800. Now, if your home has cast iron drain pipes, which is common in houses built before the mid-1970s, the situation is actually worse. Cast iron develops a thin mineral layer on its interior surface over decades of normal use. Plumbers sometimes call it seasoning, kind of like the coating on a cast iron skillet. That layer actually protects the raw iron underneath from direct contact with water and waste. When you pour sodium hydroxide or sulfuric acid through cast iron pipes, those chemicals strip that protective layer right off. Suddenly, the bare iron is exposed to constant moisture and organic waste with zero protection. Corrosion kicks into high gear. The pipe walls get thinner and thinner from the inside out, and you can't see any of it because it's all happening behind your walls or under your floors. By the time you notice a problem, a wet spot on the ceiling below a bathroom, a persistent sewer smell, or a section of floor that feels soft, the damage is already extensive. I worked on a 1962 ranch home last year, where the entire horizontal kitchen drain run under the slab had corroded through. The cast iron was paper thin and had completely failed in 2 spots. When I talked to the homeowner about their maintenance habits, they told me they'd been pouring a sulfuric acid drain cleaner down the kitchen sink about once a month for the better part of 10 years. They genuinely believed they were taking care of their plumbing. That slab repair and repipe ran them just over $4,000. 10 years of drain cleaner at about $8 a bottle cost them roughly $960 in chemicals alone, plus the $4,000 repair. That's nearly $5,000 spent because of a product that was supposed to save them money. Galvanized steel pipes tell a similar story. The zinc coating inside galvanized pipe is its defense against corrosion. Chemical drain cleaners dissolve that zinc layer, leaving bare steel exposed to water. Rust forms fast, and rust scale builds up inside the pipe, which actually narrows the diameter and makes clogs more likely. So you use more drain cleaner, which strips more zinc, which causes more rust, which creates more clogs. It's a self-defeating cycle that ends with a full drain repipe. And one more thing people never think about. Every drain connection in your home uses rubber or neoprene gaskets and seals. The slip joints on your P-trap, the connections at your drain basket, the couplings on your waste lines. Caustic chemicals degrade rubber rapidly. The gaskets soften, swell, crack, and eventually fail. I've lost count of how many times I've been called out for a drip under a sink, taken the trap apart, and found gaskets that look like they've been chewed on. Every single time, the homeowner confirms they've been using chemical drain products. Now, if you are finding this helpful, you should know this is just a taste of what I have put into my book, 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes That Will Save You $10,000. It covers everything from leaky faucets to running toilets, step by step with diagrams. You can grab your copy by scanning the QR code on screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let us keep going. So let's talk about what you should actually do when you've got a slow or clogged drain. These are the same methods I use professionally, adapted for homeowners, and none of them will damage your pipes. Your first move should always be a plunger, specifically a flat cup plunger, not the flanged one designed for toilets. Here's the technique that actually works. Before you start plunging, plug the overflow opening if your sink or tub has one. You can use a wet rag pressed firmly over it. This is important because if the overflow isn't sealed, all your plunging force escapes through that opening instead of pushing down toward the clog. Next, run enough water to cover the bottom of the plunger cup by about 3 to 4 inches. Water doesn't compress like air does, so that water column transfers your plunging force directly to the blockage. Seat the plunger flat over the drain. Make sure you have a complete seal all the way around, and deliver 15 to 20 firm, controlled pumps. Keep the rhythm steady. You want consistent pressure cycles, not wild thrashing. Pull the plunger off on the last stroke and see if the water starts draining. If it moves, you've broken through. Run hot water for a minute or two to push the debris downstream. Honestly, this alone clears about 70% of the slow drains I encounter. A $10 plunger and 30 seconds of effort. If the plunger doesn't do it, your next step is to pull the P-trap and inspect it. Grab a bucket and position it directly under the curved trap section below your sink. Most residential P-traps have hand-tightened slip nuts on each end. Try loosening them by hand first, turning counterclockwise. If they won't budge, use channel lock pliers, but be gentle, especially on plastic nuts. Once both nuts are loose, the trap section drops right down into your bucket, along with whatever water was sitting in it. Now look inside. I've pulled out clogs from P-traps that were genuinely impressive. Dense mats of hair wound around soap scum, solidified grease plugs, toothpaste caps, hair ties, even a small toy car one time. Clean the trap out completely. Check the gaskets for any signs of damage or deterioration while you've got everything apart, then put it back together. Hand tighten the slip nuts, then give each one about a quarter turn more with your pliers. No more than that, or you'll crack a plastic nut or crush a gasket. Run the water and see how it flows. If the clog is past the trap, deeper in the wall or floor line, you need a drain snake. Go get yourself a hand-cranked drum auger with a 1/4-inch cable, about 25 feet long. These run between $20 and $30 at any hardware store, and they're worth every penny. Here's the right way to use one. Take the P-trap off first. You want to feed the cable directly into the pipe stub coming out of the wall, not try to navigate it through the curves of the trap. That just wastes your time and scratches your sink. Loosen the thumb screw on the drum housing, pull out about 12 to 15 inches of cable, and lock the screw down. Guide the cable tip into the pipe opening and push it forward until you meet resistance. Now here's where technique matters. Start cranking the handle clockwise while pushing forward with gentle, steady pressure. Let the auger tip do the work. It's designed to either bore through the clog or grab onto it so you can pull it out. Don't force it. If the cable starts to kink or bow back toward you, stop pushing and just focus on rotating. When you feel the cable catch on something and the resistance changes character, it'll feel like the tip grabbed hold rather than just hitting a wall. Give it another 5 or 6 full rotations. Then slowly and steadily pull the cable back out. Whatever was clogging that line is very likely coming out with it. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be disgusting. That's a good sign. Feed the cable back in and run it through 2 or 3 more times to make sure nothing else is lurking in there. Reassemble your trap, then run hot water for a solid 2 or 3 minutes to flush the entire line clean. Now, one situation where you need to stop and call a professional. If you're running the snake and you hit something absolutely immovable, something the cable won't bore through or get past no matter what you do, don't keep forcing it. You could be hitting a fitting, a 90-degree turn in the pipe, a collapse section, or root intrusion in an underground line. A plumber with a drain camera can tell you exactly what's going on for usually between $150 and $250. That camera inspection could save you from thousands in unnecessary or misdirected repairs. Let me introduce you to something most homeowners have never heard of: enzyme-based drain maintenance products. These are fundamentally different from chemical drain cleaners. Instead of caustic chemicals creating a violent reaction, enzyme-based products contain colonies of living bacteria specifically cultivated to consume organic matter. They eat grease, hair proteins, soap residue, food particles, and other organic buildup inside your pipes and break it all down through a natural biological process. The key distinction is that enzyme products are not emergency clog removers. They won't blast through a full blockage in 20 minutes. What they will do is gradually consume the organic film and buildup that accumulates on the interior walls of your drain pipes over time, the same buildup that eventually becomes a clog if left unchecked. They are maintenance products, not rescue products, and they're brilliant at what they do. Best of all, they generate zero heat and contain zero corrosive chemicals. They're completely safe for PVC, ABS, cast iron, copper, galvanized, and every other pipe material. Pour the recommended amount down each drain before bed. Let the bacteria work overnight for a full 8 hours while the pipes are still, and they quietly clean your system while you sleep. BioClean is a brand I've had good results with. Usually costs around $15 to $20, and a single container lasts 3 to 4 months. Let me cover some common drain situations and what they really indicate, because knowing what you're actually dealing with saves you a lot of wasted effort. If every single drain in your house is slow simultaneously, stop and think about that. It's not a coincidence, and it's not individual clogs in every branch line. That's your main sewer line telling you something is wrong. Tree root intrusion, a bellied section of pipe, or heavy scale buildup in the main line are the usual suspects. You need a professional with a sewer camera. Pouring chemicals down there won't help and might make access harder for the plumber who eventually needs to work on it. If you flush a toilet and hear gurgling from a nearby sink, or run the bathroom faucet and hear bubbling from the tub drain, you've got a vent problem. Your plumbing vent stack allows air into the drain system so water flows freely. When that vent is blocked, typically by leaves, a bird nest, ice in winter, or even a dead animal, it creates a vacuum effect that slows drainage and pulls air through water traps, causing those gurgling sounds. No drain product of any kind addresses a blocked vent. The fix is clearing the obstruction from the vent pipe on your roof. If your kitchen drain clogs repeatedly, even after you've cleaned the trap and snaked the line, grease is almost certainly your problem. Cooking grease, oil, and fat coat the inside walls of your kitchen drain line and solidify as they cool. Every time you snake, you punch a channel through the middle, but the grease on the walls remains and starts narrowing the pipe again immediately. The real solution is a weekly hot water treatment. Boil your largest pot of water, squirt in a generous amount of liquid dish soap, and pour it slowly down the kitchen drain. The boiling water liquefies the grease, and the soap breaks it into small droplets that wash downstream instead of reattaching to the pipe wall. Do this every week, and you'll see a permanent improvement. If you catch a sewer gas smell from a drain that doesn't get much use, a guest bathroom, a basement floor drain, a laundry tub in the garage, the water in the P-trap has evaporated. That standing water in the trap is the only barrier between your living space and the sewer gases in your drain system. When it dries out, those gases come right up into your home. Run water in every infrequently used drain for about 30 seconds once a month. Problem solved instantly and permanently as long as you keep up with it. If your bathtub is draining slowly and anyone in your household has long hair, the clog is almost guaranteed to be a hair mass sitting in the first 8 to 12 inches below the drain opening, usually wrapped around the crosshair of the drain fitting. Pick up a plastic drain cleaning tool, sometimes called a zip strip or drain weasel, for about $3. Slide it down into the drain, twist it around, and pull it back up. The barbs on the strip grab the hair and pull the entire mass out in one shot. It takes about 15 seconds, and it works every time. I keep a couple of these in my tool bag because they're that effective for this specific problem. All right, here's the bonus tip I mentioned at the start, and this is honestly the single best piece of drain maintenance advice I can give any homeowner. Once a month, dedicate 10 minutes to flushing every drain in your house. Here's my exact routine. Start at the kitchen sink. Drop about a half cup of plain baking soda down the drain. Follow it with a half cup of regular white vinegar. You'll see it fizz up, and that's fine. That mild reaction helps break up soap film and light grease deposits without generating dangerous heat or introducing anything corrosive. Let it work for 10 minutes. While that's fizzing, go around to your bathroom sinks and bathtub drains and do the same thing. Half cup of baking soda, half cup of vinegar, let it sit. After 10 minutes, come back to the kitchen sink. Close the drain stopper and fill the sink completely to the rim with the hottest water your faucet will produce. Then pull the stopper and let that entire volume of water crash through the drain all at once. The sheer weight and volume of a completely full sink creates a powerful surge through your drain line that pushes loose debris, dissolved buildup, and anything else along ahead of it. It's dramatically more effective than just letting the tap run. Do the same full basin flush at every sink and tub in the house. The total cost of this monthly routine is maybe 40 cents worth of baking soda and vinegar. The total time investment is about 10 minutes. And I'm telling you from 3.5 decades of professional experience, if you do this consistently, you will virtually eliminate drain clogs from your life. I've been doing this exact routine in my own home for over 20 years. In that entire time, I have not had a single clogged drain. Not one. Meanwhile, I stay plenty busy going to homes where the owners skipped the simple maintenance and reached for the chemical bottle instead. Be the homeowner who prevents problems. Your pipes and your wallet will thank you for it. All right, that is the full breakdown. Remember, every single plumbing fix I wish homeowners knew about is in my book, 50 Easy Plumbing Fixes That Will Save You $10,000. Scan the QR code on screen right now, or grab it from the first link in the description. I appreciate you watching, and if you want more of these practical fixes, make sure to subscribe. I will see you in the next one.